I'm Dane Reynolds. Welcome to Throwback Thursday. I remember the first round, I drew bead and Parco. I really like going against the top seeds, but it's kind of nerve-wracking doing it in the first round because you don't get to really get any rhythm going. And there was little corners that day, and it was only about 4 foot and kind of overcast. And I don't think it was a very high-scoring heat, but I made it anyways. And I was stoked to skip around because as a wild card, that second round is really crazy because you come up against the highest seed. So I drew McFanning in round 3, and it was big and wind swelly and just really challenging. I'd been watching it from the beach, and it looked like one of those days where you see good ones from the beach and then you paddle out and there's nothing. So I was out for about, 3 or 4 minutes before the heat started, and peaks kept coming to me. And I was like, oh, I'm using my luck up now, because it just felt like I could get a really good wave before the heat. Like, peaks just kept coming and the rips were on the other side of me. And I thought that I was going to waste all my luck before the heat even started. Yeah, it just turned out my way. Days like that, like anybody can win. It's not even really up to talent or anything as much as luck. And I just kept being in the spot, being between rips where there's some clean water and a peak would come. So round 4 was against Bede and Michelle. This heat, nobody had rhythm. Everybody was just getting straight closeouts. And I got like one pretty lucky, pretty average wave that ended up being like a 7 just because the scale was so low in the heat, and that was enough to win. In the quarters, I was watching these waves way up the beach and seeing some really, really good ones, but it changes so quick in France. I mean, it wouldn't, no matter where you paddle out, it's a little bit of a risk of it just turning off wherever you paddle out, but I paddled out on the far north end and wave just right after right after right were coming. By the semifinals, I felt like I kind of had a roll going. Kind of win or lose, I wasn't too worried. I was pretty stoked with where I got at that point. The final day had some really nice waves. It was a lot smaller, but still really fun. I came up against John. He got some really, really nice waves, but it was weird. It seemed like the best waves would only get you like a 7 or an 8. You needed ones that looked like they were going to be a closeout in order to like make it dramatic and get a bigger score. He got a couple of really nice waves, but they just weren't dramatic enough, got like 7s. And then I had one where I got a 9 because it just had that extra little length to it. At that point, I was pretty stoked to be in the finals. So finals against Kelly, I was pretty excited just because you only get so many opportunities to surf against Kelly in your life, and would have been really cool to be able to beat him for the first time in a final. But I almost was kind of in John's position from the semi in the final, where I got a couple of really nice waves that just didn't have that length to it. So it was kind of, I don't know, it's really hard to get more than a 7 when the wave's just a peak and you ride through it. It's got to be more dramatic than that. Yeah, I think I needed like a high 9 by the end, which is still possible if the right wave comes in out there, but it didn't. The Quiksilver Pro last year was probably one of my more memorable contests. I've made a few finals and I've never won one, but the waves were pretty exciting, sort of big and challenging and junky and fun, and I don't know, I had luck on my side up until the final. That was my Throwback Thursday. Looking forward to this year.